All right, today's video is on ratios, so make sure you have your notes out and let's get started. All right, so a ratio is simply a comparison of two quantities or comparing two different things. That's all it is. It's just a ratio. It's looking at two different things. It could be actually more. It's comparing things, okay? So if I look at my lovely picture here, you can notice that I have pencils and I have paper clips. So I can look at this and say that I have two pencils and 6 paper clips. So I can write a ratio in 3 different ways. I can write it what looks like a fraction. So I have 2 out of 6. Okay. I can write it with a colon 2 to 6 ratio, or I can write it with the word 2. Okay, so you'll see me write them all different ways, and you need to recognize that those are all looking at ratios. Okay, and if you look at this one, you can obviously see if it were a fraction that you could simplify it. So you can also simplify it as well. So this could be simplified to 1 to 3, 1 to 3. So all of them could say 1 to 3 as well. So what that means is for every 1 pencil I have 3 paper clips. For every 1 pencil I have 3 paper clips. Okay? So simplified, every 1 pencil, there are 3 paper clips. All right, does that make sense? All right, so let's just look at a little bit more in depth with ratios. When we look at ratios, we can look at what's called part to part or part to whole. Unit rate we're going to look at later on this week, but we're going to concentrate on these two, part to part and part to whole. All right, so let's look at this picture, okay? And this is in your notes as well. So I have this picture, and obviously I'm looking at triangles, X's, and arrows, okay? So if I'm looking at part to part, that means I'm looking at 2 different parts of the thing, of what we have in the picture. So let's just look at what is my ratio of triangles to X's, triangles to X's. So I have 1, 2, 3 triangles, 3 triangles, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6 X's. Okay, obviously that could be simplified as a 1 to 2 ratio. So for every 1 triangle I have 2 X's. For every 1 triangle I have 2 X's. For every 1 triangle I have 2 X's. Okay, remember you can write that several ways, 1 to 2 or 1, 2, 2. All right, those are all part to parts. All right, part to whole, let me erase this. So part to whole means I'm looking at one thing compared to everything in the picture, the whole, okay? So arrows to shapes. So arrows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 arrows to, shapes. Let me erase all that because the arrows are part of my shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so it is a 5 to 14. Remember, the whole, the big deal about the whole is your initial number here, whatever we're talking about, arrows, is part of your whole. So you have to add that in. You have to add that in. Excuse me. So let's say if I were asking about triangles to the shapes, triangles, remember over here I had 3, so that would be a 3 to 14 ratio if I were looking at triangles to the whole, okay? So when I'm asking for the ratio, you need to make sure that you are understanding if I'm asking the part to part or part to whole, okay? All right, let's look at some examples that we have here. All right, so what is the ratio of circles to stars? And then what is the ratio of green circles to total shapes? So pause the video and write it down. Write it down in 3 ways for right now, okay? All right, check those answers. Okay, obviously this one could be simplified. So if you wanted to simplify it, that's a 3 to 2 ratio, okay? Now, does the order in which I write these matter? Because this is the higher number, so Normally in fractions, we don't want it to look like this. But the order totally matters here. This is asking for circles to stars. So in the ratio, I know that the first number represents my circles and the second number represents my stars. So the order totally matters. Yes, totally matters. Okay? All right, let's go to another example. All right, so I want you to write the ratio of boys to girls and then the ratio of girls to the class, okay? All right, pause the video and come back when you have your answer. All right, check that answer. We really didn't need to simplify anything. Okay, remember, order matters. Boys should be the first number, girls should be the second number, okay? All right, let's look at this one. This one's a little bit different. Several of the students named their favorite flavor of gum. Write the ratio that compares the number who choose fruit flavored gums to the total students. So I'm going to underline. So it's the fruit flavored gums to the total. So those are the first things I'm looking at. So the first thing I want to look at is fruit. So okay, fruit's already given to me. So that's 3. And then to total. I don't know the total, so I have to total it out. Oops, total, if I could spell right. So that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so fruit to total. Okay, fruit to total or fruit to total. Okay, again, that can be simplified. That's a 1 to 7 ratio, right? So what that means is 1 out of every 7 students that we're looking at here, 1 out of every student, they prefer fruit flavored gum over all the other gums, okay? Which is not a great ratio if you look at all the other ones, okay? All right, you try this one then by yourself. Monday's yogurt sales are recorded in the table. Write the ratio that compares the sales of strawberry yogurt to total. So look, I'm underlining because that's a strategy. Strawberry yogurt to total, all right? You fill this in, pause the video, and come back when you have it. All right, check that answer. So hopefully you simplified it. When you simplified it, you see that so 1 out of every 3 yogurts that were sold were strawberry yogurt. Okay? All right, so ratio is not a hard thing. It's actually just looking like fractions like we've done before. But it's comparing things, all right? Comparing. You need to make sure that you understand that you can write them 3 different ways. So no matter which way is written, you know that that is comparing and that is a ratio, okay? All right, so your exit slip, let's see. Yep, your exit slip, you're going to do it on a separate piece of paper. You can do it on a note card, anything like that. I don't care. But I want to see this tomorrow along with your completed notes, okay, on your exit slip. So I have a lovely picture here, okay? What I want you to do is to write 5 different ratios from the picture, and I want you to describe the relationship. You don't have to go into great detail. So, for example, if I say a 2 to 3 ratio, my 2 to 3 ratio is there are 2 giraffes for every 3 elephants. Okay, so my 2 to 3 ratio is just 2 giraffes to 3 elephants. That's what my example is. Okay, you can choose whatever you want. You can do part to part. You can do part to whole. Whatever you want to do. All right. So I want to see that tomorrow. All right. Have a great day.